My goal today in the kitchen is to teach you how to make a more nutritional ramen. I know a lot of people at home, they just get tired and lazy and they just want to grab some ramen and throw it in a pot and be done with it. Well, a couple more steps and you can make that kind of not very nutritional ramen something that actually is a decent meal. And we're going to do that by just adding some veg, fixing up the broth a little bit, making it flavorful and making it taste great as well as be good for you. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen. I'm Chef Dean Max and you are watching my channel right now, and we're going to do something really fun. It is a ramen dish, but it's your Insta ramen. How many of you guys have this at home? Yeah, you do. I know you do. It's one of those things that when you're just too tired to cook anything, you throw them in there. So I'm going to show you variations on making that way better by some simple things, okay? Again, one of the things about my channel is that I don't like working with recipes. I like working with ideas. I want to teach you guys how to cook. And the only way you're going to learn how to cook is if we kind of understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. So here I've got a store-bought chicken, okay? And we're going to take this store-bought chicken, we're going to make ourselves some beautiful chicken ramen. Now, I'm going to take this off the bone really quick. That's pretty easy to do, right? You're just going to pull the legs off like this, right? Any bones like this, I'm just going to stick in this pan over here, and we're going to put that in the freezer. So one of the big things, anytime you're working with chicken like this and you have extra bones, we stick it in the freezer till we get 4 or 5 batches of bones in there. We pull it out of the freezer and we do a wonderful chicken stock. So here I've got some nice. Now, you can see sometimes when you buy these chickens, there's a little gelatin on there. If it's not warm when you buy it, I'm just going to drop that right in the water that I'm adding for this, because we're just going to use water on this. We're making this fast. This is fast and simple. I told you guys we're going to do something really cool and simple, and that's what we're going to do. So with this, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just pick all this. Now, obviously you don't want skin in your, well, you know, crispy skin is great, but putting skin in your ramen is no good. But adding skin to your chicken stock is going to give it flavor, and then we'll discard it and use that beautiful broth later for something else special. So with this, just go ahead and pick all the meat off, okay, without the skin. Skin, bones, stick right there. So this is just your regular store-bought chicken that you guys probably buy once in a while. You can click above here. I've got a little recipe for some chicken salad, because we're probably not going to need all of this in this ramen. So if you don't use it all, you can stick it in the fridge and try that chicken salad. It's really nice. God, as much as I'm tempted to just take a bite of that because I love chicken skin. So with this, I'm just running my fingers off. See, I'm not even using a knife, right? And I'm just pulling that breast off. No bones, right? Just the breast off like this. And I'm going to pull that away with my fingers and get ourselves some nice chicken meat. Okay, you guys, we're back. We've got our chicken. Here I'm going to just take this chicken, and you know, you just want to really chop it up in kind of dices or bite size. You're eating this with a spoon probably, or maybe some chopsticks. So you don't want too big of bites of chicken. So I'm just chopping that up, put it in here, rough chop. And what you want to do is you want to put this to the side. You do not want to cook this chicken in your dish because it's already been cooked, right? So this chicken, when they cook it, it's still moist, but if you try to saute it and get flavor from the chicken, you're going to end up just drying the chicken out. So let's just chop it up like this, beautiful, and then we're going to put it aside for later. I'm going to clean up my cutting board, and then we're going to get some vegetables going. So we got the pan hot. And I'm going to start it with some sesame oil. So I've got some beautiful sesame oil here, toasted sesame oil. And I'm going to go with oniony product first. So I've got some, you can use onions in this. I have green onions around my kitchen. So if you don't have green onions, you could just use a white onion. So just skip the green onion. Again, I'm going to throw stuff in there. This is about putting stuff in your ramen to make it taste better. That doesn't mean putting what I put in the ramen. That means putting whatever you have in the fridge in the ramen that makes sense, right? If you've got celery, if you got onions, if you got carrots, you can put that in your ramen. It depends if you want that in your ramen. Now, is this a proper Japanese ramen? No, absolutely not. So don't even think that. But what it is it's a healthier ramen for you to eat rather than just eating that pack right there. So that's what this goal is. So here I've got some beautiful mushrooms. These are a small hanjamiji style mushroom, but you're not going to have these at home. I know you're not going to have these. So what you can use is just use some cremini mushrooms chopped up or button mushrooms diced up. Saute your onions, your button mushrooms. Again, if you don't have green onions, just use regular white onion or Spanish onion, whatever. Okay. Now I have some nice mustard greens here. Now these are baby mustard greens. Again, you're not going to have this either. So you can put anything in here. If you have kale, if you have some baby spinach in your fridge, I know a lot of times people will have baby spinach because they, this one I'm just going to toss in there as well. You see how we're not worried about staging this, where we just want to cook this up really fast and get all the flavor of this out. What are we doing? We're looking to make a flavorful and healthy broth other than just that packet that we're going to use. And we're going to use the packet, so don't judge, right? I know you guys have done it plenty of times. So here I've got some garlic confit. You can click above here, all right, up here I think, or maybe it's over here. Basically this is garlic that's been cooked in oil for about 40 minutes till it's super soft. I make a puree of it and I keep this in my fridge. And this lasts in my fridge months. So if you guys don't have this, I suggest you click on there, check out that recipe on my channel, and have it in your fridge. It's a great condiment, okay? So we're gonna put about a tablespoon of that. Now, I'm just sauteing still. Beautiful. I can smell that sesame oil and that garlic already. These wonderful greens, okay? Now, this is broccoli, right? So I cut the stem off of the broccoli, but I wanted to show you guys something because a lot of times people just waste the stem. But if you take this stem and you cut on all sides of it like this, the really tough part, you end up with the center part here, which is kind of white and nice. You see this? Super tender too. So we're going to add that in. The rest of the broccoli, I'm just going to put in. If you have cauliflower and you want to put in cauliflower, put in cauliflower. Like I said, this is really about you, about your ramen. It's not about my ramen. This is about my ramen, so that's why all this is going in there. But at your home, put what you have in there. But a lot of times people do have broccoli in their fridge. They do have these kind of things. If you don't have any veg in your fridge, then you need to go buy some because you're not eating well and you can't just continue like that. So here I've got some cabbage. You can use green cabbage, whatever cabbage. You can use no cabbage. I'm going to cut this in half, this. So I've got some beautiful cabbage here, and I'll go ahead and cut it lengthwise again this way. And I'm going to peel off some pieces here. I'll utilize those later. And then I'm going to chop this cabbage up in here. Now again, we want to kind of cut it a little bit smaller because we're eating it with a spoon. So I'm just going to cut it like this, back again. So by the time it wilts down, it's very much like a spoon, right? So I'm adding this in there. Now, really looking good. Now I'm going to take my water. I've got about a quart of water here, and I threw some of the pieces of the chicken juice that was in the bottom of the store-bought container. Okay, now because we don't need to put a sear on this, we're just kind of cooking the oniony part, the garlicky part, and the mushroom part to kind of wilt them a little bit. You could literally just put the water in here and throw everything in it. It's not a big deal. Okay, so with that, we're gonna let this cook off for a little bit. Now, I'm gonna add a little bit more water. I'm gonna add one more quart of water. Why? Because, well, actually it's almost a quart, another quart. Because we need enough water in here to let this cook off and steam. We're going to put this at the highest temperature right now because I want this to boil fast. And while we're doing that, we can finish. I'm going to throw all of this broccoli in. There's no use me like leaving it sit around the house. Okay? I'm going to let it steam in there. Okay? Sorry to talk with my mouth full, but it's so good. Can't help it. Right? So I'm going to add some miso in. If you don't have miso sitting in your fridge, which you probably don't use it. But look in the future for, I'm going to do probably a video on keeping a pantry, because keeping something like miso in your fridge is important. You can get some mason jars, stick it in there, and it'll last in there in that airtight environment for a long time, for months. So, I mean, it's fermented, so it's going to last for a long time. With this, I'm going to take about a tablespoon. That's going to add savoriness, like saltiness, umami, really great flavor. So you want to have something like that in there. If this is how we're going to kick it up and make it taste better. You don't have to have it. Just having the veg is fine. But I like mine spicy too. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of, this is chili sambal. So it's sambal chili. You can use, I wouldn't use like hot sauce or anything like that in it, personally, because I do like the kind of flavor of the broth to be kind of, Asian style. So we've got some Korean ingredients, we've got some Japanese, I have some Chinese. I throw this in. This is called a spicy chili crisp, and I will attach a link to that on Amazon, where you can probably buy that online. If you have Asian grocery stores, you can find it in the Asian grocery store. But what's cool about it, as you can see, it's just chilies, and they've been fried. And those chilies fried with some oils, and sometimes they put sesame in there too, and nuts. It's almost like a Chinese, or like a Mexican salsa macha, but I love that stuff. So you got to check it out. And again, look below for the link, and I'll have it for you. And I'm going to throw some soy in here. I'm using tamari. I'm not gluten-free, but tamari is just a really good soy sauce, and I like to use it. So I'm putting that in. I don't put as much soy because your miso is very, it's very kind of spicy. So, or not spicy, salty. So that's why I don't put so much. You can put some later. All right. Now we're going to let this boil. You can see I'm waiting for this all to come together, right? And I'm just stirring the miso around right now in the broth, so it'll break down. But it's going to break down anyway. And as soon as it starts to simmer, our vegetables are going to cook, and then we're going to be ready to add our noodles in, and we're going to be done with this thing. So what I'm going to do now is just break up the noodles. I don't particularly like the noodles super long. I like them spoon size, but that really is up to you. Now I do it while the package is closed, because if you do it when it's open, they kind of go everywhere. So I just open this up, and then I grab this little guy out, and we know what that is. Probably chicken flavoring and MSG, but MSG is really tasty. But I don't know how good it is for you. But anyway, I know you guys eat it and a lot of stuff, and you know what, to be honest, we're going to put it in here because I know that's what you're going to do at home. So I hate these little packs though. It's really hard to get them open sometimes. So in this, there goes our chicken flavor. I love it. Okay, and then we'll do it to this one too. Crack these first. Again, you don't have to crack this. If you like really long noodles and when you're eating it, that's fine. Just leave it that way. But I don't like it like that. Where's the pack now? That would be terrible if they left the chicken pack out, right? No, they'll never do that. These things are done by probably machines that never make mistakes like we do. So there, I've got some more of that wonderful chicken flavor. Yummy. All right. Now, I'm going to stir that in. So I've got everything in here now that we need. Is there anything else you want to put in there? Then go look in the fridge. Some weird things would be like mustard. But I know some of you at home have a very bare fridge sometimes because you don't cook enough. You don't cook healthy enough. And you got stuff like ketchup and mustard in there, and that's it. So you could try that, ketchup, mustard in your broth, but it's not going to be very good. So with this, I'm going to let this cook. Oh, you know what I forgot to put in there in the beginning? I didn't see what's hidden behind the vegetables over there. Is I have some ginger. Again, you're not going to have ginger, right? But you should. Keep ginger. You can actually keep ginger in the freezer too. So you can clean the outside of it and then keep it in the freezer. If you really want to peel it before you do that, you can peel it with a spoon. So you just scrape it with a spoon. You see how the skin comes off? If you do it with a peeler, you take off too much and it wastes too much. I just wash this, and I'm not going to peel it at all because I use my little plate here. Now, this little plate has little knobbies on it. I got this, I think I got this in Mexico, but they're really handy. So it's a piece of pottery where they take scissors and they clip it so it has like little sharp knobbies on there, and you basically rub the ginger on there like this, and it creates a pulp out of the ginger. And the juice comes down and the pulp comes down. You don't need to dice it, use your knife at all. I didn't really use my knife much in this at all, which is pretty awesome. But actually I like using the knife, but I know you guys get stressed about it. So the more I use the knife, the less chance that you are to just move on to the next thing. So, boom, a lot of ginger. You know what? I'm gonna go a ton of ginger because I have been feeling the cold coming on. So I'm gonna ward it off with this beautiful ginger flavor. Okay, and we're cooking it too. That miles it out a little bit, but I love ginger. I mean, I do like shots of ginger, so that's great. And then I'm gonna just throw that ginger over there with my chicken bones because maybe we'll put a little in our chicken stock. Who knows? So that's done for now. I'm going to stir this in. Okay. Wow, it's smelling really good. You can actually taste it at this point too because it's going to cook the vegetables, but the broth isn't going to get too much crazier. That's super tasty. That chicken packet, that stuff's good. Bad enough as it is. It's actually pretty good. So not salty though. I mean, it's really good. It's got ginger flavor. I just put that ginger in now, so it's still got the raw ginger flavor, which is a little spicy to it. I have those 2 different spices in there. I've got my crispy chili, and I've got the sambal as well, some soy sauce, some miso for saltiness and umami, and then that garlic paste that I made. So you got a lot of good flavors. You got a lot of good veg. So we're gonna let this boil for a second, and then we're gonna take a look at it. All right, you guys. Now this is cooked for a little bit longer. It's simmering now. And I'm going to add my noodles to it. These noodles are going to take probably like 3 to 4 minutes to cook, not very long. So I just put my noodles in there and I press them down in this broth. And we're just going to kind of stir them around, make sure that they're coated, they're not sitting there dehydrated on the top. And when that's done, when these noodles are done and they're ready to eat, that's when we go with the rest of this. I don't want to go with the chicken and the herbs until the end. So let's let this cook in here, and we'll come right back for it. Okay, you guys, my noodles are almost done now. They're about probably a couple seconds away. Just follow your packet rules on that. Just how long to cook the noodles. Usually it's only like 3 to 4 minutes. Then we're going to put our chopped chicken in. So now you can see we've got our chopped chicken. I'm just going to warm that. So all I'm doing is sticking that chicken meat in there to warm it. Chicken's fully cooked by the grocery store, so you don't have to worry about that. They're really good at not undercooking chicken. So I've got some cilantro leaves. I'm just going to cut those, boom, twice like that. And I'm going to put that around, right, in there. Stem and all, I want that beautiful flavor. So we're going to tuck that in there, kind of simmer with that. You want to taste it one final time. Wow. Really good. That's what I'm talking about, you guys. So for this, I've got broccoli, chicken. Like I said, the chicken just warmed in there. You see, we don't even need to do much. Mushrooms are really nice out of it. If you don't have mushrooms, don't worry about it, right? And then you got your ramen. Boom. Looking beautiful, right? I love this. Okay. And then you have got your chopsticks ready to eat. And you can garnish it with a nice little sprig of cilantro in there, right? Why not put a few pieces in there? And that's it. It's great. You guys should try this. Super easy to do. You know, ramen doesn't have to be boring. And again, this is just the twist that I did. The point is, you guys need to like start your broth off first. So the water that it calls for that packet, put a little bit more in. You can even double it because by the time you simmer those vegetables down in there, then it's going to be the right amount of liquid, okay? That liquid that's in there ratio is only according to the packet and the saltiness that packet's going to add. So you can really add more salt to it. So you can have more liquid, right? So we're putting in the miso and the soy and those things. If you only have soy sauce, if you only have, some celery in the house or some broccoli, or you don't have much, don't just put what you have in there that makes sense, right? I don't like anything sweet in there personally, but you can put radish in there. You can stick cucumber in there too. Cooked cucumber is actually a really subtle and beautiful flavor. So you could actually put cucumber in there. Onions, of course, garlic. You can put raw garlic if you don't have the garlic confit. If you don't have those chili paste, you can put cayenne or you can put a spicy pepper in if you like spiciness. So there's a lot of different options. The whole idea is balancing saltiness, spiciness, and beautiful vegetables. Because the vegetables are what are healthy for you, okay? So kick up your ramen at home. Let's chef it up, and I'll see you guys soon, okay? Click that subscribe if you're not already subscribing to me, and ring that bell, and give me a thumbs up if you like this. See you soon.